CPM Math 3, problem 3-51. We are being asked to look at a graph of a function, absolute value of x minus 3 plus 1, in order to solve some equations. And this is kind of another application of solving equations by graphing that we're going to look at. So we actually have the function here graphed right here. We saw that on problem 50. So we want to know when that function is 1. So what we do, and this number right here is the output. We do have to understand that it is taking the place of the y value, or the f of x. So it's the y value we are looking at when we approach this part of the expression or the equation here. So we're going to go to where y is 1. So I'm going to my y-axis and I'm finding where y is 1. And the question is now, if I find my function there, then I want to find the x value that is associated with that. So the ordered pair here is 3, 1. And because the output we already know was 1, they're saying when the output is 1, what is the input? And the answer is that the x value at that location is 3. So that is our answer for that one. For part B, we have a little bit of a different equation presented. It's not an equation at all. It's actually an inequality because of the less than or equal to sign. So what they're asking us is, when is our function that we've been given less than or equal to an output of 4? So keep in mind, this is taking the place of y. So when is the output, when is the graph less than or equal to 4? Well, we've been writing in a horizontal line when y equals 4. So let's actually put that line here. And now where do we find that that is below the line, less than or equal to 4? Well, it starts right here, that we're less than 4, and that starts at 0, an x value of 0. And then right here, it's below 4 over here. This is above. We don't want to deal with that, but we're starting here at where the graph is actually below the line y equals 4, and it goes all the way to 6. So from 0 to 6 on the x-axis, we see that our equation is below that y equals 4, less than or equal to 4. So we would write this actually as an inequality. It is below the line y equals 4, less than or equal to 6. All right, observe how that kind of got put together. So anywhere from 0 to 6 is where we see our graph less than or equal to 4. Okay, let's look at part C. And in this case, we're being asked, where is the function, this guy, which we have graphed over here, equal to 3? And remember that when we do this, we're looking at the output value is 3. So we're going to go to the y-axis, which is the outputs, and we're going to 3 right here, and we're going to figure out what those outputs or inputs were in order to create that output of 3. Well, if I draw my little horizontal line, remember it's not asking for a greater than or a less than. We're just looking at where it is exactly 3. So that would be this point right here where my output was 3, and we have another here that where the output is 3. So our ordered pairs are 1, 3, and that looks like 5, 3. So there are actually two solutions or two locations where our output is 3, and that means that we have two solutions, x equals 1 right here, and x equals 5. So there are actually two spots where we can use an input of 1 or an input of 5 in this function, and we will get an output of 3. All right, part D is even more fun. All right, so what they're asking here is, where is our little function, this guy right here, greater than 2? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the y value of 2, and I'm going to actually draw in my little horizontal line. Alrighty, and we're going to analyze where in the world our graph appears above that line, because of course, greater than. Well, right here, this part of the graph is greater than 2. It's above that red line. And also we have another situation over here where it's greater than or above the line. So we actually have two chunks and two sections. It's almost like we're going to have to explore this as an interval. So starting here at 2, and going to the left on our x-axis is where we see above the line. And then starting here at 4 on the x-axis and going to the right, we have it above 2. So we have to somehow express this in inequality notation. Now, if you wanted to use interval notation, we could. Let's do it both ways, all right? So this guy right here, let me get highlighter here so that we can see. So this guy right here, we're going to express as negative infinity to the number 2. And because it's not an equal to, we're going to use parentheses. Or we could say that x is less than 2. Those are equivalent. So now let's deal with this 4 part right here. Okay, so this little section, let me highlight him. This section right here starts at 4 and it goes to the right forever. So we can write that as starting at 4 and continuing to positive infinity, both with parentheses because there's no equal to sign here. And our inequality notation would be that x is simply greater than 4. So those are the two different ways of writing it. Either one is acceptable and I would accept. Okay.